Someone glances at your lunch. You haven't been asked anything. But before they look away, you're already explaining. You list the ingredients, mention why you chose it, add something about eating better lately. They weren't criticizing you. They may not have been thinking anything at all. That's not a conversation habit. That's a defense mechanism running ahead of an attack that hasn't arrived yet. And when it happens in public, in a group, a class, a work meeting, the cost is different. Because everyone in that room just saw how you responded to pressure. This video is about that cost, not why you over-explain, but what the over-explanation signals to the people watching, and what a different response signals instead. Here's what the behavior often looks like. You're in a group chat. Someone replies to your message with a short dismissive comment. A few people have already reacted. You type back 3 paragraphs. You explain your original point, clarify what you meant, add context no one asked for. You watch the read receipts come in, no one responds, the conversation moves on. Or you're in class. A teacher corrects something you said, not a big correction, but you immediately explain why you said it. List what you were thinking, try to recover. The people around you weren't paying close attention before. Now they are. Researchers who study public humiliation have noted one of its recurring dynamics. Being corrected or mocked in front of others can register as a threat to your perceived social standing, distinct from ordinary embarrassment. And when the brain reads a social threat, it tends to push toward an immediate response. Not a careful one, an immediate one. Neuroimaging research suggests embarrassment may activate regions associated with social monitoring and emotional regulation, something like an internal audit mode. It scans. How do I look right now? What are people thinking? How do I fix this? Think of it as the same feeling you get when you realize mid-sentence that the whole table has gone quiet and is listening. The response that comes out of that mode often isn't really a response to the comment. It's a response to the discomfort of being seen. And underneath that discomfort, there's often a belief, if I don't defend myself right now, everyone watching may think I accepted the criticism or had nothing to say. That belief can feel logical in the moment. In many cases, acting on it backfires. And here's where the hidden cost comes in. When you over-explain, when you volunteer more justification than anyone asked for, you're not erasing the original moment. You're amplifying it. Think about what the room actually reads. Someone said something. You responded with volume. Now everyone's attention is on what you just confirmed mattered to you. The people watching weren't sure how significant the original comment was. Your response told them. This is one useful way to understand preemptive defense. The more words you use to protect yourself, the more clearly you can signal that you needed protecting. Compare that to a different response. Someone makes a dismissive comment about your idea in a meeting. You say, fair point. I'm working from a different set of assumptions. Happy to go over them if useful. That's not passivity. It's a proportional response. You acknowledged, clarified briefly, left a door open without asking anyone to walk through it. The room often reads that differently, not as weakness. As someone who didn't need the moment resolved in their favor right now, we can call these 2 patterns preemptive defense and neutral assertion. Preemptive defense is when you speak to prevent a judgment that hasn't been made yet. More words, more detail, more urgency than the situation calls for. Neutral assertion is when you state what's true or relevant without asking the room for approval. Fewer words, less urgency, same dignity. The difference isn't tone or personality. It's what the response is actually reacting to. Preemptive defense reacts to the fear of judgment. Neutral assertion reacts to what was actually said. There's an important distinction worth naming here. Someone accidentally embarrassing you is different from someone deliberately trying to humiliate you. And both of those are different from a pattern of repeated disrespect in a workplace or relationship. Neutral assertion can work well when the situation is accidental or socially casual, a misread comment, a clumsy correction, a joke that landed wrong. When the humiliation appears deliberate, calm acknowledgement is reasonable, but a direct limit also belongs in your options. Something like, that comment wasn't okay. Let's move on. That's not escalation. And when the dynamic involves real power imbalance, a manager, a recurring pattern, calm alone may not be enough. Sometimes the right move is a conversation outside the room, or getting actual support. This isn't a one-size strategy. It's a range. The question is, which part of that range fits the situation you're actually in? Back to the group chat. The dismissive reply comes in. Instead of 3 paragraphs, you write 1 sentence. You name what you meant, briefly, without justifying the full history of why you think that way. If the comment had no real substance, you can choose not to respond at all, not to avoid it, But because silence in a group chat isn't agreement, it can just look like someone who doesn't need to convince anyone. In a classroom or meeting, the same principle applies. Acknowledge briefly if it's warranted. Answer the actual question, not the imagined version of what everyone might be thinking. The goal isn't to seem unfazed, it's to respond to what actually happened rather than to the threat your nervous system constructed around it. Because what the room often sees when you do that isn't someone who wasn't affected. It's someone who was affected and chose how to respond anyway. One practical thing to try. The next time you feel the urge to send a long explanation or justify a choice before anyone questions it, pause and ask, what am I actually defending against right now? If the answer is an actual question someone asked, respond proportionally. If the answer is a judgment you think might be coming, that's the signal to shorten. Say what's true. Don't volunteer what's defensive. You're not protecting your image by explaining more. You're showing the room exactly how much the moment got to you. Less, in this case, genuinely reads as more. If this kind of social mechanics is useful to you, there's more on the channel. And if you've ever sent that long explanation and immediately regretted it, you already know exactly what this video was about.